Welcome to Breaking Financial Chains, where we combine practical money guidance with emotional healing to help you break free from financial limitations. I'm Tanya Riverson, your financial wingwoman.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Breaking Financial Chains. I am so happy that you're here. Now, today's episode might need to come with a little bit of a controversial warning or a bit of a disclaimer. Today we're going to talk about luxury and fulfilment, what treating yourself, in inverted commas, really means. So I'm going to be holding a little mirror up to some of you today, which I would invite you all to treat yourself with absolute love, but honesty. Honesty. The themes for this episode are around intentional indulgence, a little bit of emotional spending, possibly, and redefining what the word reward might mean for you. So the overriding theme of all of my episodes is around thinking about what you want for you, from a financial point of view, from a values point of view. But that means looking at every area of your life that money is involved or money touches. And what I have been hearing recently, particularly following the festive period, this episode has been recorded for release in January, is potentially the regret of some decisions and choices that were made in spending leading up to Christmas, or the guilt when we might see how those who've received gifts from us are perhaps behaving or have been a little bit entitled maybe around that sort of spending. Now, this episode isn't about that all to begin with or entirely. This is about spending for ourselves, but that then can be rolled out and considered for other members of your family and friends and things like that. So what I want to open up with talking about today is the treat culture trap. So not just for Christmas, a little bit like a puppy, this is all year round. This is about the attitude that we might have around: you've worked hard, you're stressed, you've had a hell of a week, so you deserve it, right? And that treat might be beauty treatments, it might be a takeaway, it might be a blowout night out, it might be some online spending while you're curled up in your pyjamas with your slippers on and a big glass of wine at the end of a week. The intention is to call out the automatic treat loop, where we're doing things without consideration or without intention, or we're just doing them on autopilot because it's something that we've always done, or maybe we're searching for a little bit of a dopamine hit to make us feel a little bit better. So this sort of encompasses the whole spending on impulse, justifying it with struggle kind of narrative that we might feed ourselves, that I see my clients potentially feeding themselves. And what can we do about it? If this is something that's on a loop, then we need some sort of pattern interrupt. So this episode could be exactly for you if you're looking to do something a little bit different. So first of all, why do we confuse luxury with fulfilment? I mean, does it actually make you feel better is the initial question. But society markets indulgence as healing. What we can often see in those adverts about that instant feel better and the exhale from the models and how our skin gets that bit of a glow up because we've done something for ourselves. But if we were to look honestly at ourselves, does it actually satisfy a deeper need? What is it that is missing that we think those treats and that spending is going to fix or heal or make better or make disappear in some situations? Many women use treating themselves to numb burnout, to escape control or resentment, or sometimes to feel seen or worthy or even comforted in some situations. But if that spending isn't intentional, or it wasn't intentional, then it rarely lands. We rarely end up feeling how we wanted to feel in the first place. So it just becomes a vicious cycle of loathing and then attempting to find the next best thing. So what is luxury really? Well, it's a very personal question because it isn't necessarily about the finest option in Tesco compared to the budget or value option. Luxury isn't price. Luxury isn't about the amount that we're spending. Luxury is presence. It's about depth. It's about meaning. It's about alignment. It's about those values that I've talked about on many episodes. How close are we actually living within or moving towards the values that are so important to us as individuals? You know, sometimes luxury might be a first-class flight. And sometimes it might be a solo hour with no demands, with no phone, with no one touching you, with no one insisting that you do something for them. It's about that absolute radio silence that comes with a fresh snowfall or whatever that looks like for you. What is it that luxury looks like and feels like for you? Because it isn't the latest cashmere scarf that you could pick up from John Lewis in the sale. If that's not going to land for you, then what is it instead? So we need to get really honest and ask ourselves these questions. We need to really look at what luxury looks and feels like for us. It's the difference between chasing and choosing. So how can you tell the difference? Chasing feels urgent. It feels emotional. It feels like you're going to miss out if you don't do it right now. This second I need to go and find my purse because my payment card is in there. We end up with a high immediately after, but then a regret later. So the whole spending audit that we talked about in an earlier episode, not just around where are we spending our money, but how that spending made us feel at the time and immediately after, and whether we got a use out of the item that we've purchased. Choosing is very, very different to chasing. Choosing feels spacious. It feels calm. There is no rush when we choose with our spending, and we make intentional decisions based on things that are really important to us. It feels aligned with our values, and we get to carry that feeling of satisfaction over time. It doesn't instantly disappear as soon as the dopamine rush has worn off. So we need to ask ourselves, am I treating myself to feel better or to feel connected? Is this something that is taking me closer to my longer goals? Or am I just trying to hide or patch a problem that I really, really don't want to face up to? So the way that we get to do that is to reframe what treating yourself looks like. Because if we're not getting those results from the spending and from the items that we're purchasing, then we get to choose differently as the empowered women that we are. So you absolutely deserve nice things, yes, but let those nice things be gifts, not plasters or bandages. They need to be something that we're going to appreciate or not, and then not regret purchasing later or end up in the bin further down the line having not got the value from it. Treats should enhance your space, not recover it, because that's never actually going to happen if we're not being honest with ourselves. So to do that, we need to change the way that we're spending. We need to build a fulfillment first spending approach. And how we can do that, well, there are a few things that we can do. We can start off with being super honest, whether our journaling, actually getting yourself a joy journal, but understanding what it is that we're looking for or what it is that we feel that we're missing. What actually nourishes you? Is it that hour where your other half takes the kids out for a while? Is it being able to leave the kids and their responsibilities behind while you go for a walk and listen to a podcast? Listen to my podcast, or listen to some music, or listen to just nothing, just to actually hear the birds singing outside and to take in what's going on around you and be actually present in the moment rather than chasing something else. Maybe write yourself a luxury list that reflects your values, not what social media says that luxury should be. What does luxury feel like for you? What does it look like for you? Is it having the washing done without you having to do it yourself? In which case, maybe diverting your spending to getting someone to help you with the laundry is going to give you far more fulfillment than buying more expensive towels that go in the bathroom. Just as an example, that's literally just come to me as I'm thinking about this now and sharing that with you. Creating a list that fits with you. Allowing indulgence, but allowing it on purpose rather than being a spontaneous decision that you make in the spur of the moment because you feel like it, because you can, or because you tell yourself it's justified because you work hard. Ditching shame, absolutely, but adding discernment. We owe it to ourselves to be honest, ladies. We need to be honest with ourselves as well as everybody around us. If we're not honest with ourselves, we are never going to be able to make those choices that make us feel our best and move us towards what we want to be if we're just constantly hiding behind the truth somewhere else. So we can share some mantras to support the intentional indulgence. We can journal around this if you feel called to do that. I choose luxury that feeds me, not numbs me. So think about what it is that makes you feel positive and relaxed and spacious and calm. My worthiness isn't proven by purchases. Maybe you're going to run yourself an indulgent bath instead, or make yourself some lovely homemade nourishing soup, or buy some lovely soup from the supermarket and just sit quietly for 20 minutes while you enjoy it. Peace is the ultimate flex. What does peace look like, feel like, sound like for you? Where can you get it? Who is with you? Are you totally on your own, or are you with somebody that you actually enjoy spending that time with? Look in the mirror. Write in your journal. What does luxury mean to you? Super short episode today, intended to be short to give you something to think about. You are allowed to have beautiful things. That beauty is in the eye of the beholder, in your eyes. What is it that is luxury to you? You deserve to have more than a dopamine hit. You deserve some level of depth within that luxury. This isn't about asking your friends, asking for opinions, looking on Instagram. What is luxury? What does that mean for you? Because treating yourself should feel like self-honour, not self-abandonment. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to see you on the next episode.
Thank you for joining me today on Breaking Financial Chains. Remember, you have the power to transform your relationship with money one step at a time. If this episode helped you, please subscribe and leave a review to help others find their path to financial freedom. I'm Tanya, your financial wing woman, and I'll see you next week.